I'm Xavier Wills, and I'm here in the dungeon with Ellena Tsatsos. This is our first female in the dungeon video, and Elena's, for those that don't know, is the 2007 overall WFF Miss Australia. She's the 2008 INBA Victorian overall figure winner, and the 2009 Northern Territory State IFBB overall figure winner. Ellena, that's a pretty impressive resume.
Oh, it's okay.
It's okay.
I'm happy with what I've done so far, so no complaints from me.
Yeah. I was going through your contest history. I was doing a bit of research before we did this video, and I noticed your contest history is 2007, 2008, and 2009. Is 2007 the first year you actually competed, or?
Yeah, 2007 was the first year I competed. I pretty much started up at a gym, not to necessarily compete, but just to get fit. And all of a sudden, I was dieting, and 3 months later was my first show. And I guess it just didn't stop. I just tried all federations and did what I did, I guess. So I think I ended up doing about 7 shows within a couple months, which was pretty full on the body, but I guess I didn't really know any better, so I was having fun.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you got I believe 5 first place finishes in the your first year, and one of them was the WFF overall Miss Australia. You must have been on top of the world, because most girls compete for years and years and they don't, win titles like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I first got into competing, or the idea that I was going to compete, I bought one bikini. I was aiming to do one show, and that was, I think it was the INBA VIX at the time. And then another comp came up like a week before, the INBAs, and I thought, well, I'll just use it as a stepping stone to see what it's like, to see if I like it, to kind of, get the feel for being on stage. I'm not really a stage person. I knew from school that, doing assignments in front of the class and, public speaking and all that thing just was not my thing. So I thought I'll just prepare myself and do a show before the main one. And then I won the overall for that one and got a trip to Sydney for the Asia Pacifics, and it just kept rolling. I mean, after the INBAs, there was, the WFF, and after that was Sydney, and after that was New York, and I thought, well, might as well go to Miami and do one there too. So it kind of just didn't stop. So it was pretty full on. I still look back and think I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I survived it.
Yeah, you say, you're not good with public speaking and all that kind of stuff, but in your first year, I was at the WFF Miss Australia, and your stage presence and presentation and everything was, like someone who had been competing for 10 years or something. So who taught you how to, present yourself like that and everything?
Well, I mean, at the gym that I was at the time, we did some posing classes, and I mean, I look back now at 2007, even 2008, and I think, what was I thinking? I look at the way I posed then compared to maybe now, and just see so many flaws. But I guess at that time, I don't know, it was, besides for the actual posing, I just try and relax out on stage. I don't know if it's whether I've just got a natural stage presence, maybe because I'm not speaking and I don't have to speak, and I know that, no one's going to give me a microphone. It could be that, so who knows.
Yep. You're a personal trainer at Delts Gym in Brunswick. How long have you been doing that for, and how long have you worked there?
Well, I've been at Doherty's since January this year. I was previously at another gym. I started from scratch at Doherty's. I built up my clientele, and I've been really lucky. I've had, all my clients are amazing, and they do everything that I say, and, like 99% of them are all weight loss clients. I've got a couple that want to compete. I've got a couple that are competing, but you know, even though I'm a figure competitor myself, I don't see myself as specialising in the bodybuilding field to prep people. I enjoy, you know, getting clients ready, you know, ready for weight loss, and I like changing their outlook on themselves and changing the whole perception of you know, how they feel about themselves, and getting them to a point where they actually enjoy looking in the mirror. You know, so I really enjoy that aspect of personal training, as well as teaching figure competitors how to pose as well. So they're mainly my two fields, I'd say.
Yep. We'll talk a little bit about your training, what you're doing. You seem to include a fair few, you know, supersets and drop sets. Is that kind of typical for you, or do you normally use kind of straight sets when you train?
You know what? It really depends on how I feel and what body part I'm training. The day that you filmed me, I was training shoulders, which I feel is, you know, one of my weaknesses. So with shoulders, I've been doing single sets or drop sets, really getting in there. Whereas, you know, with legs, I'll do supersets, or I'll do a circuit, you know, plyometrics. So it really depends on the body part and the way I'm feeling at the time too.
Yep, sure. Now we'll talk about your other half, Mr. Reidie. A lot of people probably want to know, you know, because Al seems, you know, he's the funny guy. You know, he runs Muscle Diaries, and you know, all you ever see him is joking around. But is there kind of a serious side to Al, or you know, what's he like around the house? And what's like hiding as well?
He's exactly the same compared to everywhere else. He's really funny. You know, he can have a serious side, but it's, you know, not that often. Like most of the time we're just cracking jokes or making fun of each other or having a laugh. Yeah, it's never quiet in this house, that's for sure.